22.
Imagine if I got fired by my own company.
He has a pregnant fetish. He really wants to get me pregnant.
That's the thing I have to wake up to every single day.
We are on their side. That's why Rich is gone.
Waiting to fire myself.
Just when you thought Twitch streamers couldn't get any worse, I'm here once again telling you why Twitch streamers can absolutely get worse. On Twitch, there is an organization known as OTK. It is a network/organization owned by multiple very successful Twitch streamers, and unfortunately today, it seems yet another CEO, co-founder has had to be released. If you didn't already know, Mizkif was recently let go temporarily while he's under investigation for covering up SA involving another streamer known as Adriana Lee. After the last 24 hours, some allegations have unfolded regarding Rich Campbell, another owner and member of OTK. I don't really need to go into the history of who Rich Campbell is, but today we will be talking about what happened in his history, which seems to be very damning and has already resulted in him being let go from the company. The allegations start from a Twitter account, which goes by the name of Spicy White Claw or at Azalea Lexi. She posts, "If you want the whole account, here it is. Rich and I have been very up and down, on and off friendships and relationship for 4 years. Then started towards the end of his career on the Call of Duty desk. Our physical relationship started in Columbus, Ohio in 2019 and was a disaster from there. Without going into extensive detail, because that's what would be required to explain it, there were several times during the 4 years that he made it clear he only viewed me as an object." Just quickly as a disclaimer, any sort of words that are a bit higher than PG-13, I will not be reading out loud, as YouTube has been censoring my videos a lot lately whenever I talk about subjects like these, and I use certain buzzwords that their algorithm doesn't particularly like and favor. Whenever I mention certain words that are a bit too explicit, YouTube seems to just absolutely demolish the video and recommend it. And you might think, well, why are you doing it for views? Well, it's because I want these stories to see the people they deserve to be seen by, and you guys deserve to have these videos on your recommended, not just a bunch of Mr. Beast videos. I feel like these serious subjects don't need to be discussed and seen by the same amount of eyes that would see the person's content who's being accused. So honestly, I will try and keep this very clean in this video. Just trying it out. And as always, the links are in the description for all of these. Every tab I have open will be linked in the description so you can see all this information for yourself, so you don't have to watch me reading it along. But he made it clear he only viewed me as an object. But when I would confront him about it, I would get love bombed and gaslit into thinking that he cared about me and wanted to be with me. This would happen during the single periods of my life, as anytime I would be in a relationship and he would text or call me, I wouldn't tell him I was seeing someone else. After he lied to me about having a girlfriend for an extended amount of time in June of 2021, I didn't speak to him or see him until he called me, asking to apologize around the end of July, beginning of August. This is interesting to me because this also correlates to the time that the Blizzard Activision stuff was going on and kind of hitting a point where everyone online was talking about nothing else but this stuff. So it's kind of interesting for someone who's very involved in that world of Activision Blizzard as a content creator, and many other things. And then this happens and he starts apologizing at that time. There's probably absolutely no correlation, but then again, it's something to know. I always had a deep love for Rich. As a person and friend, as the beginning of our friendship, he was there for me, like not a lot of people are. So I gave him another chance to be friends. He told me he would prove to me that he was working on being a better person and that he wanted to be in my life. Then in October, he began his typical antics, begged me to come to Texas around his subathon. I said no because I did not think it was appropriate to stay with him because I did not want to sleep with him and that I did not trust him. He also came to LA in December of 2021 and asked to see me, but mainly was only asking me to come to his hotel. I said no due to the fact that I was not interested in having with him. There was not much communication until I was at a French restaurant AOC in the Upper East Side on January 30th of this year with 2 girlfriends. As the night came to an end around 12 AM, I Ubered to Rich's apartment in Williamsburg because he asked to see me. We were in the movie theater in his building and talking, and he repeatedly kept attempting to get me to lay on him. I repeatedly said, "I'm not here to sleep with you and I do not want that." At one point in the theater, he said, "I think tonight is the last time I'm ever going to see you." After trying to speak to him for an hour about our relationship and the awful way he treated me, he just continued to deflect and said there's no reason to talk about it because it makes him feel bad. He said that we couldn't stay in that room and needed to go up to his apartment per the apartment rules. I said I don't trust that, and he promised me that was the situation, that nothing would happen, and was respecting the boundary that I set. We get upstairs and he starts talking about how hot I would be pregnant. He then proceeded to pleasure himself while continuing to talk about how he thinks about getting me pregnant constantly. He kept bugging me to have with him. I said no. He continually attempted to take my clothes off. I kept saying no. At the end, and I mean the very end, he rolled me over and put himself inside of me and finished unprotected. Afterwards, I called my friend who I was staying with so I could come back, and she wasn't answering because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there. So I called the hotels all around New York City looking for a cheap room. I asked for the nearest subway and it was a 20-minute walk. Without saying anything to him, I left and I cried in his lobby. As he texted me, You okay? I never replied. I left, went to a sketchy hotel in Chinatown, and processed it by myself. I left New York the next day and never spoke to Rich again. I'm a 30-year-old woman in a relationship with someone currently. I've had several relationships with people that just simply did not work, and I still respect those people, and I would never make a false claim based on a relationship ending. I get nothing outlying about this. In fact, it's almost expected to receive ridicule when talking about SA. You can believe me or not. I genuinely don't owe anyone anything, and I'm not here to beg people to believe me. The situation we have here is a established relationship that has fallen apart over many years. It's come to a point where they're okay with talking with each other, but there is clearly that feeling of towards each other. But talking and catching up is not off the table. However, anything that involves touching of the other party or anything like that was clearly out of bounds and definitely not in the boundaries that were set. And for him to break those boundaries and go so far with those boundaries while saying such grim stuff. Now, obviously, again, I have to say this every video. I have to say it every video. And I don't want you guys to get the wrong end of the stick because I'm never actually picking sides. I don't want you to think that. This is not something that I will spend all my day thinking about like different sides of what I would take. But realistically, I want you to know that this is a allegation. Now, allegations have two sides to them. There is the side of the allegation, of the victim, that's the person who is telling you their story. Then there is the accused story and their side to it. And then there is the truth. And I must reiterate every single time that there is never always oh, that's a definitive case, or that's not a definitive case. When they are dealt with on Twitter with twitlongers and screenshots, it is an impossible task. Not just because you could literally have screenshots of text messages proving things and recordings, but there are still streamers out there that have been accused with such damning evidence and have been investigated and have somehow slipped through the cracks. We have streamers like Sinatra. We have people like Boy in a Band. I mean, we even have that TikTok guy now. And there's so many of these people that have really damning stories against them with evidence and recordings of themselves. And they're bragging as well about being with those who are underaged. And it's very strange that they can continue to create content and continue to have fan bases and people that look up to them and enjoy their presence. It's really scary. But again, please, I see so much of it where people still, doesn't matter how many times I say it in these videos, that's why I'm leaving this bit a bit more stretched out. It doesn't matter how many times I say it in the video. If I say there are two sides to every story, don't just, you are absolutely in your right to believe what the story is telling you, but don't take it as fact. You're allowed to believe things without saying that they are and admitting that they are fact. Because when you start believing things are fact, you then, for some reason, too many of you take that as an excuse to then go and hound on people, whether it be people involved, whether it be the accused or the accuser, and just absolutely have it out with them and tell them what you think. But just to remind you again, it is not your story. It doesn't involve you, because at the end of the day, this is being dealt with by the parties involved. So me telling you this story, I'm just reading the allegations to you so you're up to date with what's going on with this scenario. It is not an excuse for you to think then you know everything about it, therefore you can then go and harass people involved. Or you can go say, how dare you fake this, or how dare you do this to someone, because you don't know what happened. You don't know what is going on in these people's heads. You know nothing about them. Just please remember that, because it's so important. But it's also so important to take these stories seriously every time. The real ones could slip through the gaps and the fake ones could not slip through the gaps. And that's the problem with this. You can't just keep saying they're all fake and then saying some of them might be real, or just because there's a certain level amount of evidence, then that's real. But some of you will just listen to this video and go, oh, it's real, it's real. It's very, 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 very difficult with these allegations. So do not think it's as black and white as you seem to process it as. There you go. I finished stretching that out, but I say it every video and I'm still getting people comments and I'm still seeing people like, oh, I watched this video from Dank Tank and basically this person was this. Please relax yourselves. That being said, this particular case has a lot tied to it. So for example, we've got text messages from Rich to Azalea, I think her name is. And as you can see here, so Rich says, are you in New York? Yeah, I am. Oh shit, how long? Would be cool to hang. I've been here for a bit. I was planning on leaving tomorrow. Oh, what are you doing tonight? My friends and I are just at a bar for a bit. No formal plans, just catching up a bit. If you want to hang out later, let me know. I was already in bed, lol. I would catch up with you, but it's okay if you're already in bed. Would you want to come chill here? It's okay, I don't think that's something I'm comfortable with. Immediately, I just want immediately boundary has been set where they're not comfortable chilling at a house. Okay, sad face. You're really getting an idea of the character here. Would have loved to see you. Too bad you're already out of commission, but no worries. What would you want to do? I don't know, whatever, honestly. I have a little movie theater in my building. Would you want to chill there? I don't have a trek in me to go out this late, but that way we could just chill and it's not in my apartment. Yeah, we could potentially do that. Or would you want to come? Once I'm done here, I could probably come by. Cool, what time around are you thinking, out of curiosity? I'm honestly not too sure. I'm excited to see you. I'm going to stay up. I'm excited. Haha. Seriously, if it's too late, it's not a problem, lol. I don't want you to go wait around if you're going to bed. I'll wait up. Send me a pic. It'll help me stay up. Somehow, Rich, seriously? What? I want to see your face, lol. This is really reminding me of Reddit videos. Do you still want me to come by? I just paid at the bar. Yeah. Address? Okay, we'll be there soon. What time do you think? I think 12:40. Okay. Is that okay, or should I just stay in Manhattan? Come over. All right, that's the invitation for him to go over, but I just want to as well mention these responses. Look at the state of this. Look at the absolute state of this. Ah, yes, this proves you literally wanted to come. I'm curious, why would you wait a year for to bring up such a serious allegation? Oh my god. Look like Amber Heard version 2. All this proves is that you went over to his house. Rest of the story sounds completely made up with zero proof. I'm sorry this happened, and I'm human, and I'm sorry for the amount of dumb fucks in the replies. Thank you for that. Nothing wrong here. What is the point of this? Because these text messages corroborate the fact that they were together, that they did meet up. The boundary was kind of obviously set that they weren't comfortable even being in the actual apartment with him in his own private space. So they met up in a communal area in the building. And there's text messages. Yes, again, text messages can be faked, that is true, but you have to sometimes think about why would this person fake that, you know? Obviously, they could. That could be an underlying reason, but why would they? But again, this is a story. It's a live allegation. It's been put out there and people are processing it, including the accused. That's where it stands. Why did this allegation come out a year after it happened? The reason being, it's because there was a clip going around of him basically joking, his partner was joking that he has a pregnancy fetish. Now, that triggered, obviously, this story to come out because obviously when he was himself, he was talking about how he would really like her if she was pregnant. So it obviously ties in. It's a good time to do it. I say a great opportunity, but it's a time that, I mean, if you were in her shoes, you would be pretty damn fucking pissed off too. If it couldn't just leave you, you couldn't just leave it in the past. You couldn't just get it to fuck off. No, you then see them joking around like it's so funny, like some big, like, crazy thing, like, I love pregnancy. But then, actually, the reality of it is, he's bringing people who aren't comfortable to his apartment to then say he would really love them and impregnate and impregnate them. That's nice, isn't it? Lovely. So then, obviously, Rich then tweets this. I have read the statements against me made today. I will share my side of the story, but need some time to collect my thoughts. OTK has requested that I resign from my position. I have agreed. I will make an update soon. OTK then tweet, today we learned of troubling allegations made against one of our founders, Rich Campbell. Rich has resigned from OTK effective immediately. OTK stands firmly against sexual harassment and assault and is committed to upholding its core values. We'd like to thank our community for the continuous support and share your disappointment. Which is just a shame because it now looks like OTK is really, really, really at rock bottom. They have then obviously unfollowed Rich Campbell. This was 15 hours ago, so this was just before the allegations dropped.
What can you do?
Imagine if I got fired by my own company. That's the thing I have to wake up to every single day, waiting to fire myself.
This here is the clip that went viral, and he'd actually tweeted it saying, just had an awkward conversation with my parents that started with we were on Instagram, and it's where his partner is literally talking about his weird thing about being pregnant. See? Look at that caption. My face is covering it, but it doesn't. You can get the gist. I thought I'd share as well a response from Asmongold, who is another founder of OTK, because I just thought it was a good thing to listen to.
And I saw a lot of people that were saying that it wasn't true, that she's making everything up. Please do not do that. This is, you are not our fan. You're not on our side. We are on their side. That's why Rich is gone. Do not do this.
I thought it was a really great take, to be honest with you. It's the right move. The fact that people do actually just harass people that come out with allegations because they're like, oh, no, it's obviously wrong, because they're a fan of a streamer that is for some reason in relation to the person being accused. It doesn't even have to be the accused. Sometimes they literally do this because they are part of an organization that is then also owned by streamers that they love. It's a very strange thing that people do this. Like, why would you go hound after someone for an allegation they made when it's not been proven to be true or false? In fact, it looks more true than it does look false, to be honest with you. And it's a real shame. It's a real shame that bigger streamers then have to come out and say this stuff. But it's good. It's good that they are not afraid to take the shot like this, even when it's their best friend, it's their co-worker, it's their partner, it's like a family member. And they still take their shot. They still make sure to prove what is right and what is wrong. And they're showing you by literally saying to your face. It's a good sign. It's a good look. I'll tell you that for a fact. It's about time as well that streamers start to like take this stuff seriously, because Mizkif did not take any of this shit seriously. So if he comes back to this fucking organization, there's hell to pay. It will be a real shame to hear anything more about OTK, because at this point, if there is anything else bad coming from it, then there is I don't think there's many more dominoes to fall. And I think the whole company's have to close. It's a real shame, because there are some fantastic people behind what happens at OTK. Some really creative people. Some incredible influencers. And I think it's a damn fucking shame for it all to be smeared and ruined. And for any of their reputations to be smeared by people like this. So I really hope they make the right move in the investigation with Mizkif. I hope that they can find some kind of... I hope they can find some sort of support for the people that are working inside of OTK that are being affected by this. It's sad as well to see so many, an overwhelmingly amount of people that claim to be fans of any of these people just completely harassing the living shit out of someone. You then had to go private because they made allegations. I say made because they told their side of the story. And your response is to go hound and harass them when the guy who was accused couldn't even leave replies on his tweet because he's too scared to see what the real backlash was going to be. It's a real fucking shame that people can't even just read something and just leave it at that. Just read it. Form the opinion in your head. They form the opinions with their fingertips. It is mental. Thank you for watching. I hope this wasn't too messy. It's really late. I'm very tired. There will be more to come from this story, and I will cover it, but it's a real fucking shame to see the way that this go the way it has. I didn't think they could get any worse after the Mizkif stuff, other than the fact that they might bring him back. But yeah.